Hey guys, so today I want to talk about something. This is largely going to apply to females, and I think it's valuable for men as well, and everybody in between. So anytime I say women or what have you, just apply that to yourself. It's a topic that I've seen talked about mostly among women. So just for the record, if you're trans, if you're male, male to female, female to male, gender queer, I don't care. Translate this as best you can for you, because I think it applies to all humans. So I've been on the general pagan groups and stuff for a while, and one of the things that I've been seeing rampantly that I don't want to say it upsets me. It's just something that I wish people heard more, something that I wish was out there more. So concepts, right? We talk about concepts like the divine feminine, the divine masculine. In Wicca specifically, and a lot of pagan religions, we have a goddess and a god, or goddesses and gods. There's not really a lot of in between. And I want to introduce an idea that it sounds really simple, but I think a lot of people haven't really considered. So I want to go into the triple goddess thing, but I want to break it down a little bit first. So, way back when deities were being quote-unquote invented, back in the days when we were all naked holding spears and that kind of thing, people were looking for aspects of themselves in the world around them and to explain the phenomena. Okay, I don't really know why there's not more representation on the genderqueer spectrum, on the trans spectrum, etc. I kind of wish there was. I'm not here to defend all of humanity for that. But, they saw the wind blowing. They said, oh, we don't know why the wind blows. It must be some spirit doing it. There's spirits of animals, there's spirits of this, there's spirits of that. These things fall into what is referred to as archetypes. So, the God is an archetype. And I'm not here to tell you how to experience deity. This is merely a psychological conversation. So, archetypes. There's the God and the goddess. In my opinion, in the terms of a psychological archetype, the God is the every man. The goddess is the every woman. And the every masculine and the every feminine. However you experience this is really up to you. So, when it comes to a concept like the triple goddess, two things. People often ask, and I'll address the men easier because first because it's easier. I think men in their own way are already better at this than a lot of women are, in that they're like, oh, why isn't there a triple god? Well, there is, but it's easier to see men as everything all at once. They're the warrior, they're the consort, they're the father, son, sage, lover, brother, whatever they need to be. And I think because men don't go through as much of a physical change as women generally do, men more or less have one or two stages in their life. They have prepubescent and they have postpubescent, in terms of biology. They have that stage before their voice changes, when they're these sweet little innocent cherubic boys with these lovely little voices, and then one day they just grow up, physically. But, so, I think for men a lot of times it's easier for them to have all the roles, and I think that's a lot of the reason for male burnout, because we don't really let them acknowledge that they have these different things, and sometimes we don't give them credit for all the different things that they do. I'm married, my husband does freaking everything that I don't, and I do a lot, but we both work full time. So going into the concept of the triple goddess, what I see online a lot is how do I know if I'm a maiden? How do I know if I'm a mother? How do I know if I'm a crone? Where's the cutoff? At what age is this? At what age is that? And I think, in my opinion, a lot of people are missing the lesson or the point there. And what I mean by that is this. The goddess is all of them. All the time. As needed. The moon. We have the waxing crescent, the full moon, and the waning crescent. That's where you get the goddess symbol. And I think what people aren't realizing, or women especially aren't realizing, those things are always together. The goddess symbol is the waxing full and waning together as one. You don't wear usually, 1, 2, or 3. You don't see women running around generally with those things split into pieces. It's not like a best friend locket where you do this one, then that one, or she gets this one and he gets that one. It doesn't work that way. Women, throughout the ages, have essentially been classified as bipolar or tripolar or multipolar. And there's actually an issue in society right now. A lot of women who are having trouble with their periods or having trouble with their hormones or various things the first diagnosis for a woman is that she's bipolar. I'm not really going to go into that. That's just a thing in society right now. In ages past, it was accepted that women basically had multiple personalities in the sense that they had these different roles. And I think for men, it's easier for them to seem level, and because a lot of their roles kind of come out to the same personality in a lot of men. And this may not be the same for everybody. And hell, as a man, if you feel like the female roles apply to you, go for it. But the thing is as women, I think our jobs and our roles can be very different from each other in that, as a maiden, okay, you can be a sexy young vixen getting it down on the dance floor and sexing it up. Well, that's not really appropriate in a nursery when you're feeding your newborn infant in that moment. And then, crones, older women are generally seen as being wise and having advice and knowing healing and having, kind of that eldership and that I don't give a fuck, mentality, which is fantastic. So women, I think, the different hats that we wear, it can change from moment to moment. And then, of course, our moods fluctuate, our hormones fluctuate. Some women, when they're on their period, turn into rage monsters. Some women on their period, they cry. And we're very mercurial. We're changeable. And what I think people aren't realizing is that every woman, at every age, at any moment in your life, you are capable of being the triple goddess. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all down for phase of life celebrations. I would love, so we're getting this temple going, I would love to provide, ceremonies. So you have your young girl who's at puberty. I would love to have some form of a maiden ceremony. She started her first period. Great, let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate her as the maiden. Let's celebrate her as this young, beautiful thing. Mothers, belly blessings, that kind of thing, red tent type stuff, celebrating them as the epitome of the mother goddess. That's beautiful in that moment, and I would love to do cronings, for a woman. Usually if you're looking for a physical marker, it's when she stops her period. And of course it can stop, start, whatever. But I would say maybe her first missed period as an older woman or what have you. To celebrate those moments, because yes, there are moments in our life when we epitomize fully those phases. However, at every age, you can be, and every day, at any moment, you can be any of those three things. And that is the beauty of woman. That is the beauty of being a living image of the goddess, because you can be whatever the hell you want. I don't have children. I have moments where I go into my mother phase. I'm a very motherly person sometimes. If someone's sad or hurt, I immediately go into oh honey, how can I help you? What's going on? Talk to me. Come here. And I got big boobs. They've been referred to as come to mama breasts. And I am that woman that if you're sad, I will smush you straight into my tits. So that's all that mother, all that, oh my gosh. I don't have kids. I'm 30 years old, don't have children. And some people would say, well, that's the age. I've always been that way. I've always been that, oh my gosh, let me help you, let me heal you, let me take care of you, even as a little kid with all the empathy and everything else. Every woman, at every age, at every body shape, at every size, I don't give a shit. You can shake it. You can be sexy. You can be attractive. You can be like, yeah. And that is the maiden. So at any moment in your life, you can be like, hell yeah, I'm sexy. I don't care. 1 year old, 100 years old. We all have those moments where we're like, hey. Okay, that's the maiden aspect. And the crone the bitch who doesn't give a shit, the bitch who's tired of your shit, and the bitch who has no fucks left to give. And the beauty of that is that it is what it is. So when you get angry, and I'll do another video on why anger is important, okay? There is no love and light all the time. I don't care, okay? If you're all happy all the time, something is wrong. You're either on drugs or you're stuffing all of your issues, which is not healthy. There are times when anger is completely 100% healthy. When someone has wronged you, when someone has seriously fucked up, when someone has wrecked your life, you have every right to be like, sit down and shut up. Fuck you, you hurt me, I'm angry, you're gonna fix it. Okay, that is all the crumb. And I think part of the issue with society, because I think aging is beautiful, and we have lost that. We have lost any and all respect for old women, especially here in the United States. I can't really speak for other countries. Women are afraid to go gray. They're afraid to have wrinkles, and they feel they have lost all of their value, and that is because we have effectively, neutered women is a wrong phrase, but we have robbed them of their power. Okay, a woman who can be sexy and doesn't have to worry about getting pregnant, so she can feel free to be as sexy as she wants all day, every day. You know, a woman who, you know, her children are either grown or old enough to more or less take care of themselves, so she doesn't have to be beholden every minute of every second of every day. You know, a woman who has been around the block a few times, knows how things are, knows who she is. That is extremely powerful. That is crone. That is crone. And, you know, I've been told I've been very crony my whole life. You know, that dark side, that get out of my way, that mama's here, she's gonna fix it, or grandma's here. You know, we've all seen grandmas when they're like, nope, I'm fixing it, we're done, you go over here, you go over here, give me that thing, okay, let's do this. Alright, you can be all of those things all at once, and you are. And, you know, just like men, and if men don't feel they've already got a tap on it, same thing. You can be the brother, you can be the consoler, you know, like my husband. Perfect example. Obviously, we're lovers, you know, so we have those sexy time moments, but a lot of the time, my husband feels to me more like, not to be corny, but like my best friend, or like, almost like a sibling or someone, not in an incestuous way, but in a, he's just got my back. There are times when he's like, hey, come here, and it's not necessarily sexual, but he'll hug me, and he'll be like, how was your day, how are you? You know, there's times when we nerd it up, because we nerd it up hard at my house. We're Trek fans, we're Stargate fans, we're sci-fi fans all day long, Doctor Who, you name it. There are times when, honestly, it's like a little kid's sleepover at my house, between my husband and I. You know, we just get really excited, really into what we're doing, and it's purely innocent. And, you know, so for men, you can be whatever you need to be in the moment. You can be the protector, you can get angry, and you can grab the baseball bat when you hear a weird noise at night, and then, you know, you can come back and be like, oh, I love you. And I think in society it's more acceptable for men to do that. I do think we need to accept men more in their emotions, okay? There's a difference between being completely helpless and whiny and, quote, a little bitch, and having proper emotions, okay? I've seen my husband cry 2 or 3 times, and it was beautiful. You know, I had a situation a couple weeks ago. I got really upset, and I was crying, and he was upset for me, and he cried too. And he held me, and it was beautiful, because we can have that, and I think that men need to be able to have that too, and realize that that is part of them as a whole being. And again, if you're trans, gay, genderqueer, whatever, this all applies to you. So whatever you need in that moment, whether the male side of things applies to you more, whether the female side, whether it's all of the above, okay? It's all the same thing. All right, so when we're talking about the god, the goddess, the phases of the moon, the phases of women, the phases of men, which don't get talked about as much, you can be whatever you need to be. You are all of them. You are everything. You are every woman. You are every man. You are every being. And you are you. You are all of them, and you are also yourself. Okay? And I know that's a very broad concept. I know deity concept, especially when you're molding it to you, when you're making it apply to you, which you should be doing. Okay? Everybody doesn't need to have the same idea. This whole debate of is the goddess every goddess, and every goddess is the goddess, or is every goddess individual and unique unto herself? My answer is yes. It depends on the context, it depends on what you're doing, it depends on what you're talking about. But the many and the one and the many, it is a very complicated concept. In the beginning, and especially in beginners books, and especially for my eclectics out there, okay, I love you guys to death. Information you may have never heard before. These are starter concepts, and that's fine. And having a female statuette of a goddess or the goddess on your altar, having a male for the same thing, that's fine, and that's not even wrong, and I do that too. But understanding that there's nuances, there's levels. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the concept of the one, kind of the force, the everything, the thing that we can't define, that is neither male nor female. Take time to explore those concepts. Take time to explore those concepts within yourself. Take time to realize that there is no one answer, there is no one way. Just like we're finally waking up as a society to realize there aren't only two genders. And I would honestly myself say it's limitless in terms of who you can be and what you are, because everybody's different. As a woman, I am I'm bi, but I prefer men, married a man. I'm very attracted to women, but I never really pursued that. As a woman who is, mostly straight, I guess, heteroflexible, I have been told I'm very masculine, I'm very butch. I have no desire to appear as a male gender, and I don't diss people who do, but for me, I'm comfortable being a woman and being, as they say, butch, being aggressive, being, this is what I want and I'm gonna get it, being this is what's up, get over it. I struggled for a long time because I didn't meet the quote traditional ideas of femininity. And then I realized, I think one of my teachers pointed out to me, my spiritual teachers, honey, you got all the ass and all the tits in the world. You are the epitome of woman. The fact that you're a bitch doesn't lessen that. And I think that we need to be more open to that. We need to be more open to the idea that we are here to break labels, to break molds. But in terms of a religion that is very heteronormative based, we look at the male, we look at the female. I think part of what we need to realize, especially when working with our LGBTQIA+, I just say LGBT+, there's more than enough space for them here, because we're not meant to limit ourselves. Telling a new pagan or Wiccan, we have a god and we have a goddess, that's an excellent starting point. That is an excellent place to begin. But push beyond it. Use that and then go further. So when you're looking at these cycles, when you're looking at these phases, when you're wondering how you fit in to these concepts, realize that you're already beyond these concepts. You are more than these concepts. These concepts are tools for you to use to understand. Labels. For example, I'm not against people calling themselves gay or bi or trans. I just think that these words pale in comparison to what we really are. And I think they're, like anything else, they're a starting point. When you tell somebody, hey, I'm bisexual. Okay, cool, you're attracted to men and women. Okay, great. But everybody's individual experience is different. I prefer men. I married a man. I'm very happy with men, but I find women very appealing, and I embrace that in myself in encouraging women around me to do what they do. Woman has great boots. Oh my God, I love your boots. It's not that I'm trying to fuck her. It's just that, I use my ability to see women as attractive to try to help build them up and tell them, hey girl, you're rocking it today. You are so sexy, kill it. And things like that. And so for me, that's what my bisexuality looks like. Some bisexual people, they're polyamorous, they have a boyfriend, they have a girlfriend, they have multiple whatever, and they physically want to go out and be with multiple people. So especially in a situation where someone's bi, it's a lot more fluid, there's a lot more nuances. I argue that that's that way for most, if not everybody. So there's more than enough space for everyone, no matter what you are, no matter what kind of woman you are, no matter what kind of man you are, no matter what your gender or your sexuality is. Please, I encourage you, don't allow yourself to be limited by beginning concepts. Take them for what they are. Understand them for what they are. Memorize the information, whatever you need to do, but then the idea is to grow beyond it. Okay, look at what it literally is. There is a goddess, there is a god, a divine feminine, a divine masculine, and then break the boxes apart, because every one of us is both. So even if you're a straight heteronormative being, so like the epitome of a straight man or the epitome of a straight woman, you have both within you. Men have the divine feminine, women have the divine masculine. It was never meant to be a solid box you have to fit into. So as a woman, you don't have to fit into the box of maiden at any point in your life. You don't have to only fit into the box of mother at any point in your life. You don't have to fit in the box of crone at any point in your life. Men don't only have to be one thing. You don't only have to be a soldier. You don't only have to be a warrior. You don't only have to be a bard. You don't only have to be a poet. You don't only have to be a husband. You don't only have to be a father. You are all of these things all at one time. And the trick or the key or the lesson is to explore that and to see that. And to use those concepts to explore deeper into yourself. Explore those aspects of yourself. Explore when those aspects come out. I used to have anger issues. Simply put, labeling it, I had a lot of crone going on. And then I realized it's because I wasn't properly expressing or using my anger. I was being told that as a girl and as a woman and as a female child, I was never supposed to be angry until someone woke me up and said, hell yeah, you're supposed to be angry. I had a rough childhood. I won't go into it. But I had a lot to be angry about legitimately. So once I began to realize that and I began to express that and realize that I could tell people to F off, that I could tell people, you're not going to treat me like that. When I became an adult and I had control over my environment and I could walk away from those people, I began to develop that side of myself. So using the understanding of the crone as I got older, as I got more into paganism, it made sense. It was a tool for me to express, a tool for me to have words. And that's all these definitions, all these labels of any kind are, is to understand and to express your fullest self, because you are all of them. You are all of them at any given moment. You are everything. You are the universe. You are the macrocosm within the microcosm. You are the everything within the one. Just as the one is the everything. So I hope that makes sense. I know it was a little rambly, but I feel the need to put this out there. And feel free to share this, not because I want the views, not because I'm not trying to monetize, I'm not trying to do any of that, but for people that need to hear this, for people who need to understand. And if I haven't explained something or there's further questions, please private message me, comment. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, wherever you find me, wherever you find this. Ravens Grove Pagan Temple, it's a Facebook page. I have Simply Runa is the YouTube page. If you need further explanation, if you need further questions answered, if there's more that you want to know, I'm trying to be a little more intermediate with this group. If you have basic questions, by all means ask, but I'm trying to be a little more intermediate into getting into the deeper things, getting into the meat and potatoes, getting into the stuff that a lot of people just don't talk about. And that's one thing that I've noticed, kind of a side commentary, eclecticism versus traditional craft. In eclectic life, I was a solitary for a long time, so I'm not dissing it. Most of the books out there are beginner level. There's very little intermediate level. There's a few higher level books. There's some higher level books that got you doing crazy stuff, 12-hour rituals, all this other stuff, and that's great, but there's not a lot of in-between. And I'm going to tell you, in my opinion and in my experience, that because a lot of the in-between is shadow work. And again, to define shadow work, it's not shadows and demons and all this stuff, it's you. It's your personal demons. It's your understanding of yourself. Because the way to bridge the gap between being a newbie witch and a beginner witch and being an advanced, or sorcerer, magician, whatever you want to call it, practitioner, the difference between being a newbie and being able to do great things, amazing things, being higher level, in my opinion, is you. It's knowing you. It's understanding you. It's being your authentic self. It's knowing who you are, because when you know who you are, when you know your, quote, true name, and I mean that in the symbolic way, when you know balls to bones, you know the universe. You know, in a sense, everything, because you are the universe in one. You know, Star Trek quote, the ocean becomes a drop, the drop becomes an ocean. And when the drop knows that it's part of that ocean, truly, that is when you tap into higher level skill. That's when you tap into being able to do some amazing shit, whether you're in a coven or you're a solitary. And I think that we're not really encouraging that. And again, I'm all about self-help. I'm all about therapy. I'm all about all that stuff. And this is part of why. So I have to go. It's been a fair bit. I hope this has been a useful video. Again, share it with whomever you think needs it, and ask questions, either comment section, PM me, what have you. All right? You guys are awesome. Have a good day.